We will break the generational trauma curse. I think a hopeful message for anyone who's going through trauma and abuse and manipulation from maybe your parents or your siblings or the people around you, or friends or people at school, people at college, people at work. I think a hopeful message is, I want you to imagine like that person who's caused you the most trauma. Maybe he's your spouse, or maybe he's, your father or your mother, or someone at school or someone at work. Like that person who just destroyed you inside, made you feel terrible, made you cry. He just broke you inside, right? I want you to imagine that person, and I want you to imagine that person's parents, right? Just imagine them. How are they like? They're probably very abusive and they probably beat him and spat on him and just he took all the blame, or maybe not, right? Maybe he was favored or spoiled, but he was raised in a way that was very manipulative, very abusive, and very emotionally immature, right? Roughly speaking. And now I want you to imagine those people's parents. Those people's parents were very abusive and very manipulative and very controlling and traumatized them. And those parents' were the same way, and those parents' were the same way, and we keep going through the cycle, right? And this is what's called generational trauma, and this is the term coined by Dr. Gabor Mate, which is basically trauma is just generational, right? The reason today we have so many wars, we have so many people going through depression, anxiety, people hating their lives, people hating everyone, people being manipulative, people being abusive, people, like 70% of Americans are on at least one form of medication, mental health medication. Like the reason we have all these problems in societies is mostly because of trauma. It's because of trauma. It's because people suffer trauma from other people and they unleash that trauma onto other people. Now the thing is, Chris Williamson said this. He said, heroes and villains always have the same backstory, which is pain. But the villain says, the world hurt me, I will hurt it back. But the hero says, the world hurt me, I will not let it hurt anyone else. And if you think about it, that's really it. Bro, if you look at any movie, any superhero movie that has like superheroes and villains, or any comic book, or anything that has like the hero's journey, any story, it's the same thing. It's that same dynamic. The villain says, the world hurt me, I will hurt it back. The hero says, the world hurt me, I won't let it hurt anyone else. And the thing is, in real life, let's just be honest, most people are villains. Most people are villains. Most people don't have the emotional strength and the power to say, you know what? I had a friggin' terrible childhood. I had an abusive father. I had a manipulative mother. I had parents who loved me conditionally. I had friends who bullied me. I had people who disrespected me and hated me and caused me so much trauma that I used to cry and my heart used to pound so hard. I remember those days were terrible. But you know what? My wife doesn't deserve that. My children don't deserve any of that. The next generation don't deserve any of that. The people who I want in my life don't deserve any of that. And the best revenge I can take on those people is me being the best version of myself. Is me being the best husband for my wife. Is me going through and processing all of that trauma and being a better man, being a better husband, being the husband for my wife that my father was never to my mother, or being the father to my children that I never had growing up. You see how powerful that is? You see how hopeful that is? And that's really what's giving me hope, honestly, going through abusive or toxic people, right? Or even with friends, like, you know what? Maybe people bullied me growing up. Maybe I have a lot of trauma. Like people used to knock me and I used to cry and I used to hurt so much. It was so painful. But I'm gonna be the best friend. I'm gonna be the friend that I wish I had growing up. Because here's the thing, those people are gonna die in 100 years and they're not gonna matter. And I'm gonna die in 100 years and I'm not gonna matter. So might as well give the next generation the hope and the unconditional love that they actually deserve. And really, if you think about it, like, what is healing trauma? If you want to actually heal trauma, we heal, like, there are a lot of paths to healing trauma, but one of the paths is healing the inner child. The inner child that's traumatized and hurt and in deep sorrow and pain, who's crying inside of each one of us. We heal that inner child through, of course, visualization, imagining it, but another way to heal that inner child is something called reparenting. We become the father for that inner child that our inner child never had. We become the best mother that our inner child never had. We become the best friend that our inner child never had. And that's deeply healing for us. You see why this is powerful, bro? If we tell ourselves, you know what? No matter the pain, no matter the trauma, I'm just gonna set boundaries, focus on myself, and I'm gonna spoil my wife so much with love, and I'm gonna spoil my children with so much unconditional love. I'm gonna be the best husband for them, if like your father was abusive or something like that. Or I'm gonna be the best friend for my friends in the future, right? I'm gonna process all that trauma, and I know it's hard, but I'm gonna break that curse. That curse that's been going on for decades or even centuries. I'm gonna be the fucking man that's gonna break it. And that gives me, like, the hair is going up on my arms when I'm speaking about this. It gives me so much passion and hope and hope through suffering, It's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It's an awesome book that I really want to read in the future. But yeah, it's really meaning. Meaning is what made Viktor Frankl survive the Holocaust. Arguably the most traumatic event any human could ever go through. Right, so yeah, we will be, me and you, we will break that generational curse, as hard as it is, and as much, like, all the weight we're carrying on our shoulders, we're gonna be the ones to do that. We're gonna be that small 10% or even 1% of people who are the heroes of the world. Who are the people that say, you know what, I went through a lot of pain, but people in the future don't deserve that. My family doesn't deserve that. My friends don't deserve that. I cannot accept people going through all that pain and all that emotional abuse that I went through. I cannot accept that. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So bro, never forget, we're in this together. And trauma is such a painful, I think it's the biggest problem facing young men today. I'm genuinely being honest. From all of the conversations I've had with young men, and from my experience, it's the single biggest problem young men are facing, and no one is talking about it. Like, all the influencers right now are just like, oh, be an alpha, oh, get women. But the thing is, that's from trauma as well. That's how deeply entrenched trauma is in our society, that even the people who are telling you to get better or traumatize themselves. So I want to encourage people to heal the trauma and take care of the trauma. And of course, there are so many ways, and I made a lot of videos about it. It's healing the inner child, doing shadow work, self-awareness, acceptance, self-love, all these people. And people think, oh, but you're not alpha, man, you're not a fucking masculine man. But like, society has just bastardized these terms of strength and masculinity completely. If you actually understand masculinity and you understand what it is to be a man, like, healing trauma is very masculine. Because here's the thing, like, masculinity is all about being in control of your emotions, being very calm and in control of yourself, and just having this masculine face and this calm, confident energy. That's masculine energy, right? And it's a very beautiful energy that creates and innovates and protects and provides for people. And I love it, and I talk about masculine energy always. But if people haven't healed their traumas, they can't be masculine, because they can't control their emotions. You see what I mean? Like, when we heal our traumas, we can actually become masculine, because we can heal our traumas, and therefore we can control our emotions. And this is actually how I became more of a masculine man. And this is why, this is how I actually became disciplined, and how I actually became consistent and emotionally control myself. Like, masculinity is all about being a mountain, and that's what I'm talking about right now. When we break this curse, it's being that man who, no matter what hardship you go through, no matter what setback you go through, no matter what people throw at you, all the words, just being like a freaking mountain, like a rock, and telling yourself, you know what, I went through all that, just brush all that off. And brushing all that off means just processing that trauma. And I'm gonna make a lot of videos on processing trauma in the future, very soon. And just giving the best to the future generation, right? And that's what most people do not do. All right, so yeah, I hope I gave you some hope. I hope I gave you value in this video, bro. As always, we're in this together, and we will make it.